Hi dear students, in the last class we are discussing about that factors affecting the solubility of solids in liquids. Okay, solids in liquids factors we are discussed. Now in the today's class we are discussing about that factors affecting the solubility of gas in liquids. Solubility of gas in liquids we need to discuss. Okay students, so what are the important factors affecting the solubility of gas in liquid? The first one is temperature, the second one is nature of gas, the third one is nature of solvent, the fourth one is pressure. These are the main important factors affecting the solubility of gas in liquids. So already we are discussed the temperature effect. What is how the temperature is affecting on the solubility of gas in liquids? Okay, students. So the dissolution of gas in liquids, the dissolution of gas in liquids is exothermic process. Means the dissolution process, the solubility of gas in liquids is always exothermic. Means delta H value is negative. That's why what happens, dear student, the solubility of gas in liquids is always inversely proportional to temperature. If the temperature increases, the solubility of gas S will be decreases. S means the solubility of gas in liquids will be decreases. That is about temperature effect. The second one is nature of gas. So the gases which can be easily liquefied, that gases can be more soluble in solvents. So which gases can be easily liquefied? How can we say that this gas is easily liquefied, this gas does not easily liquefied? Based on their critical temperature values. Okay students, so the gases which are having more critical temperature, the gases which are having more critical temperature, such gases can be easily liquefied. So that gases are easily liquefied means its solubility is more. Its solubility is more. Okay, students. For example, so I am giving three gases. What are those gases, dear students? CO2 and H2 and O2. Like three gases are present. In that three gases, the TC values order. The TC value of CO2 is more than O2 and then H2. Means among these three gases, that critical temperature of carbon dioxide gas is more. The CO2 gas critical temperature is more when compared with the hydrogen and O2. Hence, the critical temperature of carbon dioxide is more means it can be easily liquefied. So that it is that CO2 is easily liquefied means its solubility in a solvent is more. So that CO2 solubility is more in a liquids when compared to hydrogen as well as O2. That is called nature of a gas. So gas here, the gas in liquids means the gases are solutes and liquid is a solvent. So the solubility of gas in liquids is depends on the nature of gas. So the gases which are having higher critical temperature value, so such gases are more soluble in a solvents when compared to other gases. For example, I gave one comparison also. Carbon dioxide, hydrogen and oxygen. Three gases you have to take. In that carbon dioxide critical temperature value is more. So in examination, they will give some critical temperature values. So they will ask among those given gases, which gas can be easily liquefied or which gas is more soluble, like they will ask. So we have to think about that given critical temperature value. Among that, which gas having highest critical temperature value, that gas can be easily liquefied and it has more soluble in nature, more soluble in nature. Okay, and let's see that the next one is nature of solvent. Nature of solvent, how that solvent effect is present. Nature of solvent means solvent is polar solvent is present and solute is also in polar nature. So some of the polar gases means the gases which can easily form ions, those are called as polar gases like HCl, NH3, ammonium and hydrogen chloride gases can easily form ions. Means they are in polar nature. That's why those are more soluble in polar solvents like water. More soluble in polar solvents like water. Okay, students. Now the fourth one is very important, either for board examination as well as in objective examination. That is effect of pressure. The effect of pressure is also called as Henry's law. The effect of pressure is also called as a Henry's law. Okay, students. So how the pressure is affecting on the solubility of gas in liquids, how it is affecting. So the pressure, if you are increasing the pressure, then the amount of gas dissolved or soluble in a solvent will be increases, means it is always directly proportional relation. Okay students, at constant temperature the amount of gas dissolved in a solvent is directly proportional to pressure. So the M is directly proportional to P. M is directly proportional to P. Then M is equals to K into P. Okay students, this is one definition. It is also, we can, this definition we can also define as, how we can define, dear students, in terms of vapor pressure or partial pressure with respect to mole fraction of gas in a solvent, okay, in a solution. So it can also be defined, it can also defined as the partial pressure of a gas in vapor phase. So the partial pressure of a gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction of that gas in a solvent or in a solution. In a solution, the mole fraction of gas increasing means automatically more amount of gas is present. That's why the partial pressure of a gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to mole fraction of that gas in a solution, is also known as Henry's law. So according to that statement, the P means the vapor pressure or partial pressure of a gas is directly proportional to mole fraction of that gas, mole fraction of a gas. Okay students, so according that proportionality you have to remove, means we need to introduce one constant that is called Kh. Then P is equals to Kh into X. Then the Kh is called Henry's constant. Kh is called a Henry's constant. Okay students, this is very very important. From this Kh is equals to this mole fraction place, we can write solubilities also, because the amount of gas is increasing means solubility will be increases. So we can write this like this also. So this mole fraction place we can write the P is equals to Kh into solubility. Kh into solubility. Okay students, from this Kh is equals to the pressure by S, solubility. For example, solubility increases, S value increases, then the Kh value will be decreases. Okay students, so that means this point they are asked in board examination as well as in objective examination also. Kh value increases, solubility of gas in liquids decreases, solubility of gas in liquids decreases, or solubility is increases, then the Kh value will be decreases, or Kh is decreasing, then the solubility of gas in liquids increases. You have to remember that point. It's very very important, this point. Okay students, for board exams as well as JEE and the NEET exams, this point is very very important. How that Kh value is depends on the solubility or mole fraction. The Kh value is increases, the solubility of gas in liquids or mole fraction of gas in liquids decreases. Agar solubility is increases, then the Kh value, Henry's law constant value is decreasing. This is about effect of pressure, is nothing but Henry's law. So the solubility of gas in liquids is directly proportional to pressure, is directly proportional to pressure. This also we can explain like that, means the partial pressure of a gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to mole fraction of gas in a solution. According to that, P is equals to Kh into mole fraction of that gas, or P is equals to Kh into S. Okay students, so now we need to discuss about that Henry's law limitations. What are the important limitations are present for Henry's law, and applications of Henry's law also very very important. Okay students, let's listen carefully. Limitations. Henry's law. Limitations. Okay, what are the important limitations are present for this Henry's law? Let's see the first one. The solute means the gas does not react with the solvent. Does not react with solvent means the gas does not forms any compound with the solvent. Means the first one, the gas does not react with solvent or does not forms any compound with the solvent. The second one is the gas does not undergoes dissociation or association in a solvent. Okay, students, in a solvent, that gas the should does not undergo say the dissociation or association does not take place, then only the Henry's law will be applicable. And this Henry's law is also applicable, mean the pressure must should be not very high. The pressure is not very high. Pressure is not very high. The pressure is not very high, and the temperature is not very low. Not very low. Under these are the main important limitations of Henry's law. Let's see, dear students, applications of Henry's law. We know very well these all applications, and in our day usual life also we are using these applications of Henry's law. Okay, students, applications of Henry's law. So let's see that what are the important applications are present. The first one is the Henry's law. Based on that Henry's law means pressure effect. The pressure is directly proportional to solubility of gas in liquids. Based on that only we are making of soft drinks and soda water. Based on that making of soft drinks and soda water. So that soda water means what it is, dear students? Soft drinks or in soda water, what happens? The CO2 is dissolved in water at in a sealed tube or in a closed tube at high pressure. Dissolved in water is in closed vessel is directly proportional to pressure. So for making of soft drinks or soda water, if you observe that soft drinks or soda water, always that cap should be very tight. Then only that inside that carbon dioxide will be dissolved in that solvent. Otherwise that CO2 will comes outside. Okay, so that is the application of Henry's law. And another important application, dear students, for example, sea drivers used oxygen cylinders. Oxygen cylinders means that air, if you observe that air is the composition of around 1:4 ratio of O2 plus N2 is present. 1:4 ratio of O2 and N2 is present. So they are using that oxygen cylinder. What happens? So they are using that sea drivers used oxygen cylinders under sea water. Pressure is more. If pressure is more means what happens, dear students? That N2 gas solubility in blood increases causes to Benn's disease. Benn's disease causes to Benn's disease. Okay, students, causes to Benn's disease. So to avoid this, that oxygen cylinders are diluted with helium. Then that oxygen cylinder composition, there 12% helium is present and 56% N2, and the remaining 32% O2 is present, like that. So due to the dilution with helium, because they are diluting with helium, because the helium is inert gas and does not soluble in blood, soluble in blood. Okay, students, that's why what happens is does not soluble in blood means due to the respiration it will comes outside. Then automatically dissolved nitrogen percentage will be decreases in our blood. Then we can protect from the Benn's disease. Benn's disease means what happens under the seawater, the pressure will be very much high. Whatever that sea drivers using that oxygen cylinders, if they are not diluted with helium, then the nitrogen will be more dissolved in our body. Then it causes to Benn's disease. Benn's disease means the bones, it will becomes very much pain. So to avoid that problem, they are adding some amount, 12%, around 12% of helium they are adding, because that helium is does not soluble in our blood, it will comes outside. So based on that, because the solubility is decreasing, then automatically we are protecting. So it is one important applications of Henry's law only. So from protection of Benn's disease, that oxygen cylinders are diluted with helium. This composition also very, very important, dear students. And another important thing is, for example, in hill areas, if you observe that hill areas, if hill areas height increases, then what happens, dear students? If height increases, the pressure decreases. If pressure is decreasing means the dissolved oxygen or dissolved O2 in blood decreases. Dissolved oxygen in blood decreases, causes to anoxia. Disease. Anoxia disease means what happens? Just in our body, oxygen levels are decreasing means just like we'll fall down slowly, because that sufficient oxygen levels are present, then only we can live. Otherwise that oxygen levels are gradually decreasing while going to the height, and hill areas are high altitudes. Their height is increasing, the pressure will be decreases. At low pressure, what happens? The solubility of gas in liquids decreases, means that dissolved oxygen in our blood, it will comes very less. Then automatically we'll go to deep sleep, means it is called coma. Still that oxygen levels are decreased means we will die. That problem is called as anoxia. Okay, students. So these are the important applications of Henry's law. Okay. Let's listen, dear students. The next concept is we need to discuss about what is vaporization and vapor pressure and what is condensation, and all we need to discuss. And based on that, vapor pressure and boiling point relations we need to discuss. Okay, let's see, dear students, vaporization. What is vaporization? The vaporization means it is the process. It is the process conversion of liquid molecules molecules converted into gaseous state are converted into vapors. Convert into vapor molecules. So is the process of the conversion of liquid molecules convert into vapor molecules. So it is always for this conversion required some temperature. That's why it is always exothermic process. Sorry, it is endothermic process. Sorry, dear students, the vaporization process is endothermic. Endothermic process means the delta H is equals to positive. The delta H is positive. Okay, students. So the rate of vaporization. What is rate of vaporization? Rate of vaporization. The rate of vaporization means the number of liquid molecules. The number of liquid molecules converted into gaseous state or converted into gaseous molecules. Gaseous molecules per unit time. Per unit time is called as rate of vaporization. So the number of liquid molecules converted into gaseous state molecules under given time period is known as a rate of vaporization. How this rate of vaporization will be depends? It depends on temperature. It depends on temperature. If temperature increases, rate of vaporization will be increases. The temperature increases, rate of vaporization increases. The second one is nature of liquid. Nature of liquid or nature of solute or solvent. If the nature of solvent means if the solvent or liquid intermolecular forces, IMF. Okay, intermolecular forces. IMF means intermolecular force. Liquid intermolecular forces increases, then the rate of vaporization decreases. Okay, students, you have to remember this point. If the intermolecular forces are increasing, then the rate of vaporization will be decreases. Because why? The intermolecular forces between the liquid molecules are very much high, means how it will be converted into gaseous state. So that conversion of a gaseous state decreases. That's why the rate of vaporization will be decreases. If intermolecular forces are very weak, then the rate of vaporization will be increases. That's why the rate of vaporization is depends on nature of a liquid. The third one is surface area. If the surface area is directly proportional to rate of vaporization, if the surface area increases, the rate of vaporization will be increases. Why? Means the surface area is more, means more liquid molecules comes to on the surface of the liquid and easily converted into gaseous state. That's why the rate of vaporization is directly proportional to surface area. What is vaporization? Just listen, dear students. Vaporization means the conversion of liquid molecules into gaseous state molecules. Liquid molecules into vapor molecules is nothing but gaseous molecules. Okay, students. Now the rate of vaporization means that vaporization we need to express under certain time period. How many liquid molecules are converted into gaseous state or into vapor state molecules is known as a rate of vaporization. This rate of vaporization depends on temperature, nature of liquid and surface area. Okay, students. Next one is condensation. The next one is condensation. What is condensation? Condensation means reverse. Condensation. Okay, condensation means what it is, dear students? The condensation means it is the process of vapor molecules or liquid gaseous state molecules. Gaseous state molecules converts into liquid molecules. Okay, means the gaseous state molecules are converted into liquid molecules. So that is called as condensation process. Okay, the rate of condensation. What is rate of condensation? Rate of condensation. The rate of condensation means, what is rate of condensation, dear students? The number of gaseous molecules, gaseous state molecules converted into liquid state, converted into liquid state per unit time. Per unit time is known as rate of vaporization. The rate of vaporization. This rate of vaporization or condensation process means the gaseous molecules are converted into liquid state molecule, means this is delta H is equals to negative, means exothermic. It is a exothermic. Okay, students, under closed vessel, in a closed container, in a closed container, at certain time, at certain time, the rate of vaporization, is equals to rate of condensation. Then both liquids and gases exist in equilibrium state. Okay, students, both are exist in a equilibrium state, means the liquid molecules and gaseous molecules are exist in equilibrium state at certain time period in a closed vessel. If you are in open vessel, means it is not possible, because equilibrium is a reversible process. The reversible process or reversible reactions always taking in a closed container only. So at certain time period, the rate of vaporization is equals to rate of condensation. The rate of condensation. Then both that liquid and gaseous molecules are exist in equilibrium state. Exist in a equilibrium state. Okay, students. Now we need to discuss about that vapor pressure. What is vapor pressure, and how that vapor pressure is depends on boiling points, and based on that lowering of vapor pressure and the relative lowering of vapor pressure concepts we need to discuss. Okay, students, let's see that vapor pressure. Vapor pressure. What is vapor pressure? The vapor pressure is nothing but the pressure exerted by the vapor molecules on its liquid surface. On its liquid surface, when both exist in equilibrium state, and both are exist in equilibrium state, known as vapor pressure. Known as a vapor pressure. What is vapor pressure, dear students? Vapor pressure means already we are studied. Vapor pressure means vaporization means the liquid molecules are converted into gaseous state molecules or in vapor molecules. Condensation means the vapor molecules are converted into liquid molecules. Okay, at certain time both vapor molecules as well as liquid molecules are exist in equilibrium state. At that equilibrium state, that vapor molecules or gaseous molecules exerted pressure is known as vapor pressure. For example, this is one closed container, then this is the equilibrium state, then it is called liquid molecules. These are liquid molecules and these are the gaseous molecules. These are the gaseous molecules. So this is a gas and it is a liquid, and both are exist in equilibrium state in a closed container. In a closed container exist in equilibrium state. That exerted pressure, this gaseous molecules exerted pressure on the liquid surface is known as vapor pressure. Is known as a vapor pressure. Okay, students. Now this vapor pressure, what are the important factors affecting on the vapor pressure? Let's see, dear students. This vapor pressure depends on depends on temperature. Okay, students. The first one is depends on temperature. The second one is nature of. The second one is nature of liquid. We are using that depends on nature of a liquid, and this how it will be affects. Mean the vapor pressure, the temperature effect. If temperature increases, the vapor pressure will be increases. So the graph will comes like this. The vapor pressure with respect to temperature, like it will increases. The vapor pressure is increases with increasing temperature. Okay. Now nature of liquid. If the intermolecular force of liquid increases, then the vapor pressure will be decreases. If the intermolecular forces are decreasing, means very less molecules are converted into gaseous state, automatically the exerted pressure will be decreases on its liquid surface. That's why the intermolecular force of liquid increases, then the vapor pressure will be decreases. But one important point, dear students, the vaporization is also depends on temperature and nature of liquid as well as surface area, but the vapor pressure is independent on the surface area. Okay, but vapor pressure is independent on the surface area. Surface area of liquid. Okay, surface area of a liquid. So these are the main important points related to vapor pressure. Based on that vapor pressure and temperature effect relation has been given by Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Clapeyron given relation between vapor pressure, that is P, and the temperature is ln P is equals to minus delta H of vaporization by RT he gave. From this ln you want to convert into LOG, means we have to multiply it with 2.303. 2.303 log P is equals to minus delta H enthalpy of vaporization by RT. Okay, students. Then log P is equals to minus delta H vaporization by 2.303 into RT into RT. This is the relation. Yes. And at different temperatures means the temperatures are at T1 and T2 temperatures. According to the temperatures, the vapor pressure of liquid is equals to P1 and P2. At T1 temperature, temperature is equals to T1 and vapor pressure is equals to P1, and temperature is equals to T2 and vapor pressure is equals to P2 for a liquid. Then log P2 by P1 is equals to log P2 by P1 is equals to delta H vaporization by 2.303 R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2 is also nothing but log P2 by P1 is equals to delta H enthalpy of vaporization divided by 2.303 R into T2 minus T1 whole by T1 into T2, where R is equals to gas constant. Okay, students. And delta H is equals to enthalpy of vaporization. So this formula is very, very important. Based on this formula also, they are asking some questions in NEET and JEE as well as in CET examination. Okay, student, this is the important relation has been given by Clausius Capron. The relation is the relation of between vapor pressure versus temperature. ln P is equals to minus delta H by RT. Then log P is equals to minus delta H by 2.303 RT, that is at certain temperature and pressure. If for a solvent or for a liquid is existing at different temperatures, the temperature is T1, at the temperature vapor pressure is P1, and temperature is T2 and the vapor pressure is P2, then the relation is log P2 by P1 is equals to delta H by 2.303 R into T2 minus T1 by T1 T2. This formula is very, very important. Okay, students. Now this is about vaporization, vapor pressure concept. Okay. Next we need to discuss about a boiling point. Okay, students, what is boiling point? Boiling point means, okay, it is a certain temperature. For example, you are taking a graph between the vapor pressure and temperature. Okay, vapor pressure and temperature, the graph is going on like this. If vapor pressure increases, the temperature will be increases. The temperature increases, the vapor pressure will be increases. But at certain vapor pressure, when the vapor pressure is equals to atmospheric pressure, it is vapor pressure. So the vapor pressure is increasing, then it is equals to atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure is nothing but the pressure is equals to 760 mm or 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay, at what temperature the vapor pressure is equals to atmospheric pressure is called as boiling point. For example, here, water only you have to take. For water, For water, you are increasing the temperature, then it is converted into vapor state. Liquid molecules will form. That liquid molecules as well as gaseous state, vapor molecules, both are exist in equilibrium state. Then the temperature is going on, as well as vapor pressure will be going on, increases, rising. At certain state, what happened? The vapor pressure is equals to atmospheric pressure. At certain temperature, the vapor pressure is equals to atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure is nothing but 760 mm. Vapor pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure, is known as boiling point. Is known as a boiling point temperature or boiling point. For example, water only we are taking H2O. Now, at water temperature is rising and the vapor pressure is also increasing up to reaches to 760. Then the boiling point temperature, how much it will comes, dear students? It is 100 degrees Celsius. 100 degrees Celsius means 373 Kelvin's temperature. Means 273 plus 100, 373 Kelvin's temperature. Okay, so that is the boiling point of water. At that temperature, the vapor pressure should be how much it will come, dear students? 760 mm of Hg, or is equals to atmospheric pressure, is known as a boiling point. Is known as a boiling point temperature. Okay, students. Now let's see what is the relation between vapor pressure and boiling point. For example, for a liquid, vapor pressure is increases, then boiling point should be decreases. The boiling points will be decreases. Means the vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling points. Okay, vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point. Why the vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point, dear students? Because the intermolecular, if vapor pressure is increases, means intermolecular forces will be decreases. Vapor pressure increases, then intermolecular forces increases. Intermolecular forces decreases. Then boiling point means that automatically intermolecular forces are increasing. Decreasing means that liquid molecules are easily converted into vapor state at lower temperature only. So that's why automatically the vapor pressure is easily reaches to atmospheric pressure at lower temperature only. Then boiling point decreases. Then the boiling points are decreases. Okay, that's why the vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point. Based on this concept, liquids are two types. The liquids are two types. One is volatile. One is volatile liquids or volatile solvents. Liquid or solvents or solutes, whatever it may be. Volatile liquids. The second one is non-volatile. Non-volatile liquids. Okay, students, if volatile liquids are present, then their vapor pressure is more and boiling points are low. If non-volatile is present, the vapor pressure is low and boiling points are more. So for this case examples, for example, ethers, their vapor pressure is more, and methyl alcohol, the vapor pressure is more. Okay, ethers, methyl alcohol, as well as benzene. These solvents, vapor pressure is more, automatically their boiling points are decreases. Those are called as volatile liquids. And petrol, the petrol is also volatile in nature. Non-volatile liquids means Water is a non-volatile. That's why it has high boiling point. Water. So, for example, ethers are very low boiling point, and petrol is also very low boiling point. If you update that petrol, if you open that petrol tank or petrol containing a cylinder or a beaker, then automatically that petrol quantity will be decreases, because means at lower temperature only it is converted into vapor state. In the same way, you have to keep two beakers, in one beaker petrol and another beaker water. In outside in that midday means morning time, then what happens, the petrol where in the present in that beaker, that quantity is decreasing after some time, but water quantities will be remains same. Means the petrol has vapor pressure is more, its boiling point is low. That's why it is called as volatile liquids. And second one is non-volatile liquids like water, nitrobenzene, aniline. Benzene ring having NH2, it is called as aniline. Is having NO2 group, it is called as nitrobenzene. Okay, and benzaldehyde. These are non-volatile liquids. Non-volatile liquids. Their boiling points are more. Okay, students. Now, based on that, for example, solution and solvent. The same way, the vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point as well as inversely proportional to concentration of solution. Concentration of solution. For example, the vapor pressure of pure compound or pure liquid. Pure liquid means it is a solvent. Is always more than the vapor pressure of solution. Vapor pressure of a solution, because the solution is more concentrated when compared to solvent. Vapor pressure of solution. So the solution is nothing but it contains solute, means it must contains non-volatile solute plus solvent. So its vapor pressure is more. What about the boiling points? The boiling point of pure liquid means solvent only. It is less value when compared to the boiling points of solution. Boiling points of a solution. So the solution boiling point is always more when compared to pure liquid. But vapor pressure of pure liquid is more than the vapor pressure of a solution. Okay, students, this is about vapor pressure and related to boiling points and related to concentration. Always concentration of solution is more than the solvents. That's why the solution boiling points are more when compared to its pure solvent. And the vapor pressure of solvent is more when compared to the mixtures or solution. Okay, these points are very, very important. Based on that, we'll discuss about that lowering of vapor pressure and relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, students, let's listen carefully. What is lowering of vapor pressure? Lowering of vapor pressure is nothing but delta P. Okay, is represented by delta P. The lowering of vapor pressure is nothing but, we know that is nothing but the difference between the vapor pressure of solution and vapor pressure of solvent is known as delta P, because we know that the vapor pressure of sorry dear students, reverse I said completely. The difference between the vapor pressure means vapor pressure of solvent is more, okay, when compared to solution. That's why The delta P is nothing but the difference between the vapor pressure of solvent and vapor pressure of solution is known as delta P. That's why the delta P is equals to the vapor pressure of solution is nothing but P naught minus Ps, where P naught is equals to vapor pressure of solvent, that is in pure, okay, and Ps is equals to vapor pressure of solution, okay. So this delta P is nothing but P naught minus Ps. Let's see, the next one is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. What is relative lowering of vapor pressure, dear students? The relative lowering of vapor pressure means it is defined as the ratio. It is defined as the ratio of or ratio between delta P. Delta P means lowering of vapor pressure, LVP. LVP. It is the ratio between the lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent or pure component or pure solvent P naught is known as a relative lowering of vapor pressure, RLVP. R means relative lowering of vapor pressure is nothing but delta P by P naught is nothing but P naught minus Ps by P naught is known as a relative lowering of vapor pressure, is known as relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, students, for example, solution concentration increases. If the solution concentration is increasing, means what happens, dear students? The vapor pressure will be decreases. The vapor pressure of solution will be decreases. But the difference between the vapor pressure of pure solvent and solution will be increases. The delta P increases. The delta P value increases. And relative lowering of RLVP, the relative lowering of vapor pressure will be increases. And boiling point will be increases. So this is about important relation. You must have to remember the solutions concentration increases. Concentration increases, then automatically solution vapor pressure is decreasing when compared to its pure solvent. That's why the difference between the P naught minus Ps will be increases. Delta P is increasing. Then RLVP value will be increases because the delta P is increasing and P naught value decreases. Okay, and boiling points of the solution will be increases. Okay, students, in the next class we'll discuss about that. Based on these vapor pressure, relative lowering of vapor pressure concept, we need to discuss about the what is Raoult's law. Based on the Raoult's law, liquid solutions, how they are classified and their properties and all, we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, students, thank you for all, and please subscribe my channel, everyone.